This meeting is being recorded.
Go right ahead, Peter.
Okay, thank you. This is the Douglas Library Board of Trustees regular meeting. Today is Monday, the 13th of February, 2023. We do have a quorum with us this evening. First thing on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'll all please join in with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our first item on the agenda is our special guest, the Public Building Committee, who are going to bring us up to date on all their hard work regarding the roof of the library. So with that, I don't know if I turn it over to Richard or Mal, but you guys are on.
Well, why don't I start and then you can take over.
Go ahead, Richard.
The town on January 9th released the bid documents to bid for the re-roofing project. We did have a pre-bid conference at the library on January 18th, was attended by about 7 or 8 roofing contractors. And then on February 1st, the bids were due. Unfortunately, we only had one bid. We were all expecting greater participation. However, the one bid that we did receive was within budget. We had a follow-up de-scope meeting last week, and we went over the scope of work, not only the members of the building committee, but more importantly, the roofing consultant went over a litany of things, and the collective consensus was that the contractor clearly has the scope of work covered. He's got everything that's required. And as a result, we as a committee have issued a letter to Andy Tierney asking the Board of Selectmen on Thursday night to review our recommendation to make a contract award to the firm. It's Young Developers out of Hamden, Connecticut. Company's been around for 20 years. They're actually currently working on a project on Orange Street in New Haven with our roofing consultant. And it's an occupied building. It's a private school, and it also has a daycare center. And from all indications, very similar challenges of doing a re-roofing project at a library with a library, functioning throughout the day. And the information I have is the roofing is proceeding without any issues, with anybody complaining about any issues. So that's exactly what we want to have happen at the Douglas Library. We want the work to proceed seamlessly. Mal will talk about a staging and site logistics plan, because there was a lot of thought that went in, both on our part as a building committee, but also on the roofing consultant on how to do this so that we get it done, and we get it done in a safe manner. The low bid for the project from Young Developers was $274,900, which was well below the initial budget that we had set up. On the basis of that, the roofing consultant recommended that there were 2 alternates. The first one was to remove all of the homosote off of the roof deck. The homosote is like a fireproof material that was applied back when the library was built. That is really the source of that waffling and waving action that everybody sees when you look underneath the shingles. And having the ability to remove that physically from the equation is really good. It'll be replaced with 2 layers of 1/2-inch plywood. It'll remove any type of concern. The plan was to cover it with a 1/2-inch layer of plywood. And now with the funds being available, with a number coming in within budget, this is really a very well-advised move to remove that from being even a suspect issue down the road. It just removes that as being a concern. And the other thing that the roofing consultant had advocated right from the beginning was, in lieu of the roofer using pneumatic nailers, was that he really felt to be a better job if all the shingles were hand nails. The plywood would go down with with pneumatic nailers, but the shingles themselves would be all hand nailed. And so that, in our letter to the Board of Selectmen, that will be discussed in detail on Thursday, we'll be awarding the base bid and accepting those two ad alternates, which we think ultimately will provide the best product for the town and, more importantly, the Douglas Library. I mean, the one thing that Mel and I will be at the Board of Selectmen meeting on Thursday that we will caution them is that the last evaluation that was done of the roof was almost 3 years ago. And we all recognize, at least on the committee side, from what we evaluated, was that there's probably going to be more fascia and more trim that has rotted out that's going to be needing to be replaced. We're hoping that's not the case, but we know that there is a possibility of that. And there are funds in the budget to address that. And that's the good news. So as Mal had said before we started the meeting, we kind of got a little bit delayed in getting this out to bid, but I think we were very pleased in how the numbers came in, and the contractor is really got a good reputation. So I think we really are starting the project off on a really upbeat note.
Oh, great.
Well, that
And-
sounds great, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm available now to answer any questions, or I can defer to have Mal start and talk about the site logistics plan that we put together.
Why don't we hear Mal and the site logistics plan, and then we'll open it up to questions for the board.
Sounds good.
Okay. You should have a view of the overhead of the library right now.
Yep.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
You may ask why all the fencing and what the big deal is here when you see contractors re-roof buildings, whether they be commercial buildings, private residences, or public buildings. They're usually not fenced completely, and the entire building will be staged, meaning they'll have pipe staging all around the building. And the reason for that is, if you recall, and it's been a while since we talked with your group, but the original design of the building called for ventilated soffits, so air could get in, run along the underside of the roof decking to keep the shingles cool, to keep the moisture out of there. And those soffits were never put in. Those ventilated soffits were never put in. So in order to put those soffits in, it's not like just putting a roof on, getting the starter course on, and then roofing up. They've got quite a bit of work to do underneath the edge of the roof in order to get those soffits installed. So it will be totally staged, and it will be totally fenced. If you look at the drawing, you'll see several blue elongated rectangles, and
Right.
those are the entrances and exits from your building. They will all be covered with, they'll have staging around them, and they will be covered with materials just in case something should fall off the roof and somebody's walking, for instance, in the main entrance, they're not going to get hit by anything. Now, the current plan, and we've been working with Kevin right along, and Kevin, jump in at any point. The current plan calls for you to continue your hours the same as they always are. We will schedule work, or I should say the contractor will schedule work in conversation with Kevin to ensure that the prime areas where people are, or where they're close to, are done off hours as much as possible. You also, so all of the blue areas will be covered, and they will be covered on the top and on the sides. And you can see that essentially we've taken the entire parking lot in front, directly in front of the main entrance, and that will be fenced. It'll be fenced so that the contractor has a place to store his materials, to store his dumpsters, and they will access that through the yellow line. The handicap parking is being taken care of. It's not as close as your current handicap parking, but we are putting 2 temporary, and we will mark them as such, temporary handicap parking spaces on the east side of the building, the purple area as designated on the diagram. The back parking lot will be accessible, and that's probably where the majority of your patrons and staff will end up parking. The project is slated to begin shortly after Maple Fest, and the contractor has 130 days, Richard? Yeah, 130 days to complete the project. So if we start, say, the 1st of April, by the time school gets out, we should be pretty well done. As Richard said, the good news, and it really is good news, is that we are going to be able to take the Homosoak completely off. Now, from a financial perspective, we know that Kevin worked hard, and Kevin got a great grant in the amount of $232,000. And Donna Lanza was here. I think she's still here. Donna was kind enough to read the fine print and point out to us at our last meeting that the state will only pay up to 50% of the project. So we probably won't be able to spend all that $232,000, but it's still going to cover half of the project, and the actual taxpayers will pay a lot less than they would have if the bids were to have come in at a higher number. We could go on and on and on this, but the whole idea is that this project needs to be safe, that you need to be able to run your operation as normal as possible. The only noise that you probably will be hearing are the pneumatic nailers when they're nailing down new plywood. The hand nailing will be a lot quieter, and possibly some compressors. Spoke with Kevin about when they're nailing plywood on the roof to try to keep people out of that area of the floor of the 3rd floor of the library, because it's possible for those guns to misfire, and they're pretty good at they're pretty powerful in terms of shooting nails. We certainly don't want anybody to get hurt there. And we'll, as I said earlier, we will try to avoid working over areas that have people in them at the time that people are in them, and we'll work right along with Kevin to minimize that the impact of that. So that's essentially what we have to tell you. We did want you to know when it was going to start. Our the building committee, as well as our consultant, will be coming in and going out just to keep an eye on the job. We will be meeting the supervisor from Young Industries prior to the beginning of the job, and we're ready to go, and we're happy that we're finally to this point. So if you've got any questions, either Richard or I would be glad to answer them.
Mel, it's Donna. I have a quick question. I think, Kevin, you might be able to answer it. Looking at the diagram, the existing wood fence that's at the top,
Yes.
it's like a peach colored.
Yes.
Kevin, is that fence there currently?
Yes.
Or is it is?
Yeah, that's the fence between the
Legion
property and the Legion property.
Legion, and that fence is existing right now.
Yes.
Well, let me put it to you this way. It was existing when we drew this plan. Unless they've taken it down, it's still there.
Yeah, I believe it's still there. I don't think, I know there's discussion about taking it down and replacing it, but I don't think anything's started on that.
if that is missing, Donna, that will be fenced.
Thank you.
You bet.
I'm just gonna go look out the window.
Okay.
Any
Thank-
other questions while Kevin's looking out the window?
Richard, maybe you could just kind of fill them in on HVAC and
You know, but that they've got released until May, right?
Yeah, because, yeah, but in first.
Yeah. So it'll be 2024, not.
Yep,
Okay.
read them and vote on the next year.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yes, the fence is still there.
Thank you.
Just a quick side note on the fence. I believe that there's been a request under ARP funds to the town of Hebron. I believe it's currently on the list. It will probably be discussed at Thursday night's Board of Selectmen meeting to replace that fence and have it funded through ARP funding. So the good news is that it's there, and hopefully by the time we start, it's still there or the replacement is there. But like Mal said, if it does come down, we can definitely install some temporary fencing there and have, just an additional cost from the contractor. It's not a big deal. Mal asked me to kind of update the board of directors regarding a couple of HVAC issues that we're following after the work was completed a couple of years ago by ESC. There are two things that we have advocated that the town find appropriations for. The first one is to address providing dehumidification during the high humidity days during spring, summer, and early fall. We worked with the current building management provider, and he's put together a proposal that has gone to Andy, and Andy's in the process of trying to find the funds to get that work underway. And the other thing that we recommended should be done is the hot water balancing. There was air balancing that was done after ESC finished installing all the new HVAC equipment. But one thing that was kind of missed in the plans and specs was to do the water balancing. And ideally, when you want to do that is during the winter months. So that's a little less costly than the humidification. And Andy, in a recent conversation with Mal and myself, said it was definitely, on the front burner. It was just a matter of trying to find the funding to address those two. And we will continue to stay vigilant on those because we think they're two of the last things that really need to happen to the HVAC system to kind of take the last two kind of wrinkles out of the system. So we're continuing to carry those as open items on our agenda.
Richard, was included in that proposal, was there the additional sensor for the reading room to average the two?
That's correct. That's correct. The dehumidification proposal did include addressing kind of that temperature disparity that you're seeing on the first floor where your office is versus the reading room. So that was part of the dehumidification.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
And can I just jump in? It's Donna again. When I reviewed the CIP balances, there's still some money in the CIP line items from the HVAC. There's several $1,000s. So there is some money. I don't know if it's enough to cover both projects in their entirety, but there is some money there that we should be using for that.
That's good information, Donna. I think that I'll touch base with Elaine in the office maybe tomorrow or the next day. There may be enough money there to do I believe the water balancing was that $2,500.
I think the number was $1,800 to $2,000.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, that was a smaller of the two proposals that we had sent on to Andy.
Yeah, I'll check with Donna and I'll get a note to everybody just so we can get that moving, because that really is the thing that needs to be done first. I mean, I'm not complaining, by the way, but we're quickly moving out of the heating season. And if we could get that done over the next month, that would be ideal. So thank you, Donna, for that information.
You're welcome.
Does the committee have any other questions? Okay, then hearing none, gentlemen, thank you again for all your hard work. And
Yeah.
thanks for being here with us tonight and this coming Thursday.
You bet. And if you want to attend on Thursday, feel free. Gail is already aware that this is coming up on the agenda, so I'm sure she's done her due diligence to get others on board. And hopefully we'll be ready to go. And before we leave, I just want to publicly say to the board of directors here, Kevin has been great through this whole thing. He's flexible. He's attentive to what's going on. He asks great questions and points out when there are issues, and that's what we need. So, Kevin, thank you very much for working with us.
I
Thank you
appreciate that.
guys for all your work too.
Our pleasure.
Hey, I
Our
have a
pleasure.
different question. Can I ask a question of something between roof and reading room? The burst pipe. Is there anything that can be done at this time with anyone about changing that system in the attic from that damp system? I didn't say dam, I said damp.
What system?
Now, this is the unit in the library.
Oh,
Section we're
Yeah, the
talking.
reason for that burst pipe up there.
We certainly could look at it. I don't think there's any funding to do that. That would be a significant cost. And Richard, do you remember we had kind of batted that around, moving that? Do you remember if we ever got any pricing on that?
I don't think we looked at that because I think the approach from ESC was replacing same for same.
Okay.
One thing that I'll do in advance of our public building committee meeting of next week is I will reach out to Willie Bell, and I've been swamped with other things, but I'll reach out to him to find out exactly what he perceives as having caused the issue and see if we can't somehow come up with some way to kind of mitigate or, alleviate the potential of that happening in the future until we come up with an alternative plan for that HVAC system over the existing, the original part of the library.
There's no potable water that's in that system at all, is there? Could we put glycol in there? I mean, we don't have to discuss it here.
Yeah. Actually, we did talk about it, and matter of fact, it's coming back to me. So Mal, you and I will talk offline about
Okay.
that very issue. But I want to find out from Willie exactly what caused the issue and see what we
Okay.
can do to address it.
Okay,
And
and we
Willie-
will get back to you through Kevin.
Willie will have more detailed information, but I believe that the sensor proposal will, if we purchase and install those, may actually solve the issue that happened that caused the pipe to freeze. It's my understanding that portion of the HVAC just wasn't calling for heat, wasn't turning on, and that was the reason that the water was sitting there stagnant. So if that set point is averaged between the two, then it's more likely to turn on, and I think that may solve the problem in the future. But Willie's more of the expert than I am on that.
And this is Donna, and I believe Kevin is correct. And what the HVAC guys told us was we had those, severe cold temperatures on that Saturday. And with the sensor being in a heated space and it did not call for that unit to turn on. So it was because of the way the sensor is placed for that unit.
Okay, we'll do some
Thank
more
you very
research
much.
and we will get back to Kevin on what we
Yeah.
find out.
I'd like to just thank the building committee. I mean, they've been working on this HVAC for 5 to 6 years. I mean, it would be great to finally get the whole issues resolved and get a new roof. I mean, that's been going on probably close to 10 years now.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
So thank you for hanging in there and making sure things are getting done correctly.
Well, Peter keeps us on our toes.
Good, good.
So,
Okay, well, thanks again.
Thank
you
you.
bet, you bet. Take care.
You too.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, we'll go on to public comments. Is there anyone out there from the public who wishes to speak? Hearing no one, we'll go on to item number 5, reports. We'll start with the secretary's report and the approval of the minutes from December and January's meetings. I trust everyone has had an opportunity to review those.
Peter, this is Gail. I would like to go to the January 20th meetings minutes and offer one suggestion for a correction.
Okay, please do.
Okay, on the first line of the paragraph that starts with Donna Lanza thinks, it said approved. And of course, nothing that we've done at that point could be approved. So the best would be to substitute in there request received. Couldn't have been approved at that point.
Okay. Anyone have anything else? Okay, hearing nothing, let's start with the December minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
I so move that we accept the minutes.
I'll
Moved by-
second that.
Moved by Dale, seconded by Gail. Any further discussion on the December minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose? Abstain? The ayes have it. On to the January minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the January minutes as amended by Gail.
I so move.
And I'll second that.
Dale again moved and Gail seconded that. Is there any further discussion on the January minutes? As amended? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose? Abstain?
I'm
The aye-
abstaining.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Sue, I'm abstaining.
Oh, from the January minutes.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Sue. The ayes have it. On to the financial report, Kevin.
Peter, it's Donna. I'm sorry. Can we just back up to public comment? Because I just would like to, as the president of the association, introduce Ann Danaher, who is here tonight with us as a guest, and one of the nominees from the association to serve on the board. We had a special meeting last week, and we have nominated Ann Danaher and Meg Clifton, and their appointments will be taken up by the Board of Selectmen this week. So I just wanted to introduce Ann. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Ann,
Well-
welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Pleasure. Kevin, financial reports, please.
Peter, if you don't mind, before we get to the financial report, since we kind of have the minutes in front of us, there's some concern that because some members of the board weren't sworn in during the December and January meetings, that the votes that we took during those meetings may technically not be legal, because we may not have had a quorum when we thought we had a quorum. So it was suggested by Donna that the board, to cover our bases, take a quick vote to reaffirm the actions that we've taken over the past 2 months, just to dot our i's and cross our t's in case that ever gets called into question. So we would just be looking for a motion to reaffirm all board actions from December 1st to present.
So moved.
I'll second.
Well, wait a minute. Kevin can't make the motion. Did-
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll make the motion.
All right, so we've got Dale's motion. Is there a first for that?
Peter,
Yes, this is Gail.
Gail made the
Gail.
motion, yeah.
And a second?
I can't because I made the motion.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this motion?
My question would be, when is the end of the year for the directors? What's
December
the
1st would have been the new appointments. So that's like the end of the term,
December,
the next term,
December 1st?
right?
So if one is not sworn in, one cannot vote on any of the motions from thenceforward.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so for this vote, I'm going to ask Kevin to do a roll call, please.
Dale Bland,
Yes.
Gail Richmond,
Yes.
Marianne Foote.
Not legal.
Oh, I think you are legal to vote on this because you are now sworn in.
I am not now sworn in.
Oh,
And
you're
we
not
don't have
sworn
a
in.
quorum.
So we don't even have a quorum tonight.
No,
Okay,
Ah,
that's okay then. Right, so we'll have to do this next month's meeting then, when we do have a quorum.
Oh my
So-
God.
We can handle that then.
well, we'll handle it then, but as for now, we got to close the meeting.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta close the meeting. Well.
No,
we could have
you
an informal
can't. You
discussion
can
and
just
go over
not
something,
vote on
right?
things.
No,
You
we're
can
not holding the meeting
I-
if we don't have a quorum.
It's Donna. You
Hmm.
can conduct business. And we
Yeah.
can keep a record, but there can be no votes.
Right.
So if there is business, if there is anything that needs to be discussed, you can discuss it. You just cannot take any action.
Correct.
all right, so we'll have to vote again next month on accepting the prior month's minutes.
That's correct.
Yep.
Okay.
Was it-
Well,
Was
what's
it-
your feeling? Do you folks want to go on and just have a non-meeting?
I would say
I-
everything else on the agenda is pretty much informational, so I don't think we'd be missing out on much. But it's up to you.
Well, ladies, what do you think?
I think we should go
If
on
it's
with the meeting.
informational, we should move.
There are changes in the manual to be made. So we could discuss those, but we can't vote on them. So we still have to bring them up again.
Yeah,
Yes, but we don't have to discuss them again.
I'm ready
So-
to, I'm ready to close the meeting. I
I
Sure.
agree with you, Peter. I don't, we would
No,
be
this
just
is
rehashing next
absolutely-
month.
Yeah,
Right.
because we're short 2 members also, so we'd be answering their questions
They
again.
would, yeah, they won't know what we're talking about.
Right, yeah.
so let's apologize to Ann and tell her this isn't the way we normally operate.
Yes, Ann, now that I got you to join us, we're not usually in this much of a flummox. So,
And this is Donna. I can, Meg is here now too. Meg Clifton
Okay.
has joined us. So Meg, we're introducing Meg Clifton to the board as well. And we're just talking about needing to probably adjourn this meeting because there is not a quorum of the board currently in attendance.
Okay.
Which will change next month. So
Yeah.
we should be all set next month.
Well, welcome, Meg. This is Peter.
Hi, thank you. And I apologize for my lateness. I was on the phone with a colleague and then I was like, oh my God, like I totally lost track of time. So I really apologize. That won't happen again. I'm so embarrassed.
Right.
Don't be embarrassed. Things happen. Okay, so we're in agreement. We're going to close this evening's session.
Okay.
I think so.
And I guess we can't take any votes. So that being the case, I guess everybody just says goodbye and hangs up.
All
Yeah,
right.
no vote to adjourn because we're not in session.
Right.
Well, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye,
And
everyone.
to our new members.